Hello people off the internet, it's been a while. Finally got, wait there, took 3 weeks, I'm not gonna lie, it's sort of fucking tracking it for not moving for weeks. Finally got my Starlink. Plan is, got hairs on it already, heckin' dog. So the plan is to stick this on my roof through the wardrobe. So in the back of this wardrobe is an aerial point, right? All terrestrial. Would have had a TV unit sitting over here. I've already took all that out. Who's watching terrestrial? You can't even get a signal anywhere. Not in the UK anyway. Everything went digital. So the plan is today is to clear all this crap out. Now I have to do this in stages. So what's happening is that's the old aerial cable. Let's get all this shit out. I have to put it back in an hour because I've got to go to the dentist and we're staying in Derry tonight. So in the back of here, let me bring you. So in here we have, that's obviously the aerial point. Stop rubbing it like it's a sexual thing. I've disconnected the tightening mechanism because basically it comes in and out. I'm not taking it off at the minute because it'll rain and we don't get the adapter part till tomorrow. So this power lead here runs 12 volts into an aerial strength detector, right? Which is obviously all part of this Vision Plus system. I don't need this anymore, right? We don't watch TV. We don't have a TV license. So I need to drill this little hole out here. There's one at the top for the aerial itself. So I'm going to snip this today because it runs 12 volt. I'm going to put it in a 12 volt socket here, like this here, which has its retainer, some fitting screws, and a little hosting panel. So that sits in there. All screws in, and then we can plug in the Starlink. Now you need this because this will give you about 20 watts of power to power the Starlink dish. I'm calling it a dish. It looks like a feckin' plate. Dog hairs. Snippy on this, split the cable out. Do I need to split the cable out for anything else? No, because I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to disconnect all this. It's not necessary. I'll just snip the end of this off. I was going to make it a three-way, so if somebody wanted to use it in the future, they could. But who's using terrestrial aerial anymore? Nobody. So there's no need really to have that in here anymore. I'll just tuck the aerial out the way, the connecting aerial, which runs from the van, runs from the wardrobe over our head into what would have been this. In here would have been the TV. We don't use that anymore. We have projectors. So I'm just going to snip this, put that on, wire that, test that it gets power to this. And tomorrow we will then have the adapter part that will mount on top of the aerial because that's a 36mm pipe, and the bracket that comes with this is 50mm, but it does have some M5 sort of tightening clamp thingy on it, but it's not big enough and I worry that it will just fly off, to be honest. So I've got an engineering firm in Limavady making it 48mm to 42mm, which will be just big enough, and I'll drill some threaded holes and clamp it to this 36mm pipe. It's not too bad then, and I'll three-way the clamps so it'll be like a tripody clamp. I'm just going to snip this and I'll bring you back in a second. Where we're at, we have the cable coming through. I've snipped the end off, the cable coming through. I have attached some connectors basically. There's the 12 volt socket here, and then we have the Starlink USB-C to 12 volt adapter done. And then we're just gonna quickly pan down to here. And we have power going to Starlink. So it's morning because it can't see the sky. So that's fine. I'm not too worried about that. So the next thing to do now basically is tidy all that up. I'm gonna heat shrink around the connectors, those little connectors, because I don't want them accidentally touching and sparking out, and possibly costing me 52 quid to get a replacement 12 volt adapter. Now, the Starlink USB adapter is USB-C. I plugged that into my Jackery USB-C port and it shit itself. I think it can only really push out about 5 watts. So you really do need that Starlink power adapter from Starlink, 52 quid for the kit. You do need it, and the reason for it is it takes the 12 volt and allows it to pump out 20 watts. Because when I had it plugged into the 12 volt socket on the Jackery, which it also has, using the Starlink adapter, it was telling me it was using about 20 to 21 watts of power. So this is going to be a drain on my leisure batteries when we use it. However, thankfully, my solar panel really does a great job during the day of topping everything up. So when we run the microwave, for example, which we do on occasion, I usually start the engine just to give the inverter a chance. When we microwave something for like 2 minutes, I'll start the engine just to even out the balance. Same with the toaster. We have a toaster in here that I make toast, obviously, because it's, you know, as the name suggests. I run the inverter, run the generator. Now I have ran the inverter, which is a 6,000 watt inverter with a 3,000 watt continuous use, pure sine wave, link in the descriptions. Have run the microwave and the toaster at the same time, and it hasn't batted an eyelid. It's been fantastic. So it should cope. The batteries will cope running the Starlink, which will be on the roof as of tomorrow. Fingers crossed, if AC Engineering and Limavady have that step down adapter made for me. Not much else to add to this. We'll pop it on the roof tonight through the skylight, which is currently open, and just position it. I'm using the existing clamp that it comes with, already fitted. These do come off, and I just sit it on the roof, and obviously it's weatherproof, it's meant to be. Also has a little cool 80 watt snow displacement system in there as well, which you can activate via the app. So when it gets snowy, you can power that on and it'll keep the snow off. It's obviously another drain on the battery though. Right, that's enough waffle. I will chat to thee tomorrow. Bye.